Shelterview Jetsprint track at Wanganui, the traditional start to the jet sprinting season, did what it always does, pulled big crowds and provided edge-of-the-seat racing in Suzuki Grand Vitara Superboat. Biggest surprise was the demise of Peter Coley in the top 5, an engine failure when he hit something in the water, putting him on the trailer early. There was still plenty to cheer about, especially if you were a local. Pat Dillon and Steve Edmonds in the Holt took their first ever win with a flawless run in the 3 and a 46.9 second clocking. When he took the checkered flag, there was none happier than the Ford fan, Pat Dillon. So Pat Dillon takes an early lead in the point situation from the Host brothers in second place and Leighton and Kelly Manel in third. For just the second time ever in history, ASB Bay Park Stadium in Mount Maunganui was transformed from a Super 15 rugby venue to a state-of-the-art jet sprint track. And just as they had done last year, thousands upon thousands of fans packed the stadium on the first of 2 days' action to cheer their favourites. This was NZ Stadium Jet Sprint, round 2 of the PSP New Zealand Jet Sprinting Championships. And in some cases, the occasion got to a few. It was like racing on a knife edge. We asked some of the drivers their thoughts after their first runs.
She's rice paper stuff out there. It's that thin, that fine. If it's a blink the wrong way, you're out. And she's unforgiving. And I felt I had a couple of those blink moments out in that last run, and that sort of went, watch it, boy. It can bite you.
The track's very tight. We're just going to just nurse our way through it for now, and if we have to really show something later on, we'll show it, but it's going to be a scary one for sure.
Pat, what a difference a year makes. This time last year you were battling to get the boat back together after that big crash in Wanganui. Now you come to round 2 of the championship as the points leader.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that was going to happen, eh? I'm so happy, you know, like the boat's all together, it's going well. Wanganui, it was our day, you know, and there was still more left in it, which was exciting, and we got that checkered flag, which we've been wanting for quite a while.
After the dramas of Wanganui, it was doubtful that the current world and defending New Zealand champion Peter Coley would be at Bay Park, but he was, but drama wasn't far behind.
We were looking forward to racing it, but you know, we've gone out and we've tested it, and the motor's progressively got slower and slower, and we think there's a camshaft or a cam follow issue. So we've had to leave it aside, and Leighton Manel has generously offered us a drive in the Naki Hire boat.
What makes the sport great are the people. Showing great sportsmanship, Leighton Manel would lend his boat to Coley.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, Peter's, you've got to take your hat off to him. He's the best racer out there and has been for a long time. So if you want to beat Pete, you've got to do it on the track.
It'll help us to accumulate a few points. We'll do what we can, get the points we can, and regroup and see what we can get organised for round 3.
Adding more spice to the mix was Australia's Fonzie Mullen. Fonz, not for the first time, I'm back at Bay Park, and I think you said to me last year sometimes you bring a knife to a gunfight. You probably had your wrong engine in here last year.
I did, mate. I bought the twin turbo machine, and I would have rathered the NA machine, but yeah, you want to have a look what's in the back. Twin turbos, mate, so I come back and a big gun.
Making a welcome return to the sport was Gisborne's 4-time New Zealand Group A champion, Rex Bryant. Rex Bryant, you've had a bit of a flirt with the Superboat before, but this is a new campaign?
Yeah, well, you know, at least I own this one. I've had a bit of a play with others' boats and, you know, sort of had a taste of it and thought, shall I, shan't I? And,
But you're a bit of a competitive animal. 5 national titles tells us that. So what will you be satisfied with by the end of the night?
Well, you know, I'd be silly if I said I wasn't hungry to win. But I can only squeeze that trigger when I feel confident with the boat, and I'm not yet feeling confident with the boat. So, you know, it's we're right on the knife edge out there. I felt like I could have biffed it out of the track, and that's through boat handling, and I haven't got that right yet. But it can change. I'm chipping away at it, and I'm making changes every run.
There was a premature exit for Glenn Head and Darren Todd in overtime at round 1 at Wanganui, but they were back at Bay Park. Guys, it was all going so swimmingly well at Wanganui until that one last run.
Yeah, well, that didn't quite go to plan, but those things happened, and we came back in, you know, a few days in the workshop, and we had it hammered back into shape, and we're back here today, and so far things are going exactly to plan. So yeah, we're happy.
Fastest overall in the first elimination, the top 12, they're 44.518, just pipping Aussie Fonzie Mullen for bragging rights.
We just went out there with the intention of doing what felt comfortable, mate, and whatever the clock says, it says, eh?
44 is what it says.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. Boat feels good, so we've got a little more we can wind into it yet.
Rob Coley had a new navigator for Bay Park. Andrew Clooney stepped up when Rob's brother Tony couldn't make it. Unfortunately, Rob struck problems in the 12 and his night ended too soon.
It just flamed out, electrical and I'd say a spark box. Just so frustrating. We were sitting on the ramp and it was a little fluttery, and I guess the thing out of it all is what happened where it did, because I mean we got a Hamilton spin out of it, and otherwise we would have been up the bank and probably wouldn't have had a boat.
And so on to the top 8. Past world and New Zealand champions, the Manells, Leighton and Kelly, were in the 47s early. And those times continued to come down. By the 8, they were a 45-second boat and looking good. Peter and Gary House and the quad-rotor Mad As had a huge, nearly 2-second improvement from the top 12 to their 45.946 in the 8. Probably not quick enough, though, for the top 5. Another to miss the 5, but only just, was Australia's Tremaine Dukes with navigator Lauren Keedy. Another using Sprint Car 410 power, his best a 46.121. Rex Bryant was sharing his boat in the Raw with good mate Robert Stubbs, and they'd been adjusting the boat all night. His 45.464 showed it was working. He was top 5 bound. Going home early would be New Zealand number 2 in Suzuki Superboat, Graham Hill, in the Nissan-powered Liquid Gold. He dropped time from his 46.0 in the 12 to finish on 47.2 in the 8. Looking to carry on his good form at Bay Park was Suzuki Superboat points leader Pat Dillon, his 44.9 ranking him 4th and booking a spot for PPG Hulk in the 5. Nick Berryman had been the surprise package thus far in Suzuki Superboat. He'd ripped off a 44.9 in the 12 and went quicker again in the 8, 44.3, ranking him 2nd quickest. The finals beckoned.
Tony Marsh dynoed it in the weekend, and we just found all this extra power that had been asleep. We woke it up. Yeah, and now we're cool, man.
Good luck with the next one.
Wicked.
Fonzie Mullen wasn't running for championship points, so he is here for one thing only, and that was to win. Pipped by the smallest of margins by Head and Todd in the 12, they had made changes and were looking to regain the top spot with a 44.03. They did just that.
Got to keep it all together and keep it out. It's pretty easy to make a mistake out there, so yeah, we'll keep clicking them on, and if we're lucky enough to make the top 3, we'll let it rip.
Whether it was the small block twin-turbo Chev urging them on or the big crowd, Glenn Head and navigator Darren Todd had been getting faster and faster. They were the quickest in the top 12 and looking for the same here. Unfortunately, just like Wanganui, the track bit them hard.
I don't know what happened, we just got a bit untidy through the centre there, and the old big gill spat me out, mate.
For the first time in his jet sprinting life, Peter Coley and navigator Karen Marshall with the unknown package at Bay Park, driving Leighton Manell's Taranaki Hardcore. This was a salvage mission for the South Island pair. Coley was right at home in what was his old boat, his 45.431 in the 12, eclipsed with a 44.864 here in the 8. He would go through to the 5.
We've got a bit of oil and water going on in here, so it's getting good. We're getting better. We made another change that run. The boys have been working real hard, so it's paying off. Pleased they're getting the results.
So we're down to the business end here at Bay Park, night 1 of a 2-day weekend of the NZ Stadium Jet Sprint. So if we have a look at the top 5, or in fact the top 6 with the Australian Fonzie Mullen there, he was quickest, and then it was Nick and Ella Berryman. This is Rex Bryant and Kirsten Vermeulen in the Raw is the boat. Great to see Rex Bryant back in the action in the jet sprints. He did this last year at Bay Park as well, but this year he has progressed a little bit further than he did last time round. He's made the 5. Pretty good comeback for the man from Gisborne, the 4-time Group A champion. White Pointer Boats, of course, in the Roar is the boat, and he has been pretty quick all day. 45.464 in the 8. This is the 5. This is when it gets a little bit serious. 28.782 at the split for Rex Bryant. So he's laid down a marker for the rest of the Suzuki Superboat, the Grand Vitara Suzuki sponsored class, the unlimited class in New Zealand jet sprinting. You ride with him here, taking the PSP pictures. Kristen Vermillion doing a fantastic job as the navigator, her first time in the boat with Rex Bryant, and it's a 45.437. So that is the benchmark. Can Leighton and Kelly Manel go better? Past world and New Zealand Superboat champions, Leighton and Kelly Manel out of Taranaki these days, ran through with a 45.665 in the top 8. This is the 5. You're on board with him here. Taranaki Hardcore is the boat. Remember, being double driven tonight with Peter Coley and Karen Marshall. And there has been a little bit of a question mark in the past about the mechanical issues that sometimes this boat suffers, so they would be doubled here this night, this balmy night at Bay Park for round 2 of the PSP New Zealand Championship. 31 and change at the split, so they are down on the time of Rex Bryant. Navigating this multi-island course inside the ASB Bay Park Stadium in Mount Maunganui, heading down to the PSP finish line now, and it's going to be a 45.871 for Taranaki Hardcore. Pat Dillon, Steve Edmonds next to go in the Ford small block, 1400 horsepower, tunable in the back of PPG the Hulk. Winner from round number 1 in Wanganui, another combination that's been very, very quick and riding the crest of a wave, if you pardon the pun, since their dominant performance at Wanganui. And just listen to the engine note. That 440 small block Ford sounds like it's hardly working, but I can tell you it is. It's pumping out the water at the back of this boat at an enormous rate. That's how the jet boats get their propulsion. It's essentially a huge pump in the back of these things. You see there Steve Edmonds gesticulating for his driver to head in the right way into the 44s in the 8 at 44.97. This one's going to be quick as well. Just look at the way the boat just hobby horses a little when it crosses at wakes. It does it twice on this course. 44.657.
Yeah, no, we're pretty happy with that. There's a bit more room to give it a bit more yet.
This is Nick and Ella Berryman. And as I said, the surprise package here in Suzuki Grand Vitara Superboat. They found extra horsepower after round 1. They had fuel issues at round 1 in Wanganui, but boy, they've been quick ever since. They were in the 44s in the top 12 with a 44.996. Backed that up with a 44.309. Only one combination was quicker, and that was the Aussies. Oh, and he kisses the side of the island. And have a look at the elevation from New Zealand Riverjet. Nick and Ella Berryman sets the elevation record here at Bay Park. Just got it wrong. Have a look at it on the replay. They just clipped the side of the island, and unfortunately their passengers after that. Here it is from the reverse angle, and they just spear into the turf here. Nick, it's a cruel way to go out when everything's going so well.
Yeah, look, the boat was going good. Just a second, just didn't see it come round a bit wide. I don't know. There's lots of things you could put it down to. Just got it wrong. I don't know about this track. I like getting air, don't I?
It would seem so, yes.
Holy hell, you know, there was big air.
Well, plenty of air, but not a lot of damage. Hopefully Nick and Ella will be back in day 2 of the competition. Hopefully this guy is as well. This is Fonzie Mullen and Nicole Cooper out of Australia. They're the past Australian Superboat champions. The boat is Ramjet. It runs a twin turbocharged Chevy in the back of it. Puts out something like 1,300 horsepower. And he has been fast all evening. 44.5 in qualifying round number 4. Backed up the 44.7 from qual 3, and he's already dropped into the 44.0s. That was the top 8 time, 44.03. 28.090. That's the fastest split we've seen in the evening here at Bay Park. So this is going to be another quick one for Fonzie Mullen. Look at the way he just boats down the centre of the course. This track started out very, very narrow, but it's sort of blown out a little bit wider as the runs have gone through. 44.101 for Fonzie Mullen. That puts him on top.
Yeah, no, it was a good lap, mate. Nice and settled as well. So, yeah, I was happy with the boat.
So this is Leighton and Kelly Manel's boat, but it's actually Peter Coley and Karen Marshall. As I said, a salvage operation for them this round. They hope to have their black boat back, but unfortunately a broken crankshaft has taken a little bit longer to fix, coming from the United States, the parts. But this has been a pretty good substitute for them. This is an ex-Peter Coley Sprint Tech boat from a few years ago now, and he seemed right at home with it straight away. Another one in the 44s, but he waited until the top 8 to do it. Let's see what the the split's going to be. Needs to be 28 and change if he's going to bother Fonzie Mullen. It's a 28.632, so he's there or thereabouts. Is the 7-time New Zealand champion, the current New Zealand and world champion. Peter Coley, Karen Marshall, his navigator, in unfamiliar territory in the Taranaki hardcore boat, working their way down towards the finish line now, looking for a 44-second clocking. Not going to get it. 45.100.
Hey, we're doing the best we can, and very grateful to got this far, so they're valuable points for the championship.
So we see the top three. Well, it's a top four with the Australian. Fonzie Mullen on top. In second, it's Pat Dillon. And in third is Peter Coley. And Rex Bryant makes the final as well. In the Raw, Rex Bryant and Kristen Vermillion will go first. What a dream reintroduction to the sport it's been for the 4-time New Zealand Group A champion Rex Bryant. They've been adjusting this boat right throughout the evening here at Bay Park. Of course, it's been double driven with Rob Stubbs, a great friend of Rex Bryant. Rob, of course, a paraplegic, so there's lots of work been going on behind the scenes to get Rob in and out of the boat and situated. But now it's up to Rex to try and do the job here in the final three. What's the split time going to be? It needs to be around about the 28-second mark. It is 28.475 for Rex Bryant. 28.475 is the benchmark in the 4. Remember, normally we'd be running a 3, but we got the Australian here. He's not competing for points, so this is about the New Zealand Championship as much as anything. But Rex Bryant also not competing with points. 44.965. That's his best time of the evening, and that's as good as you could expect.
A whole half-second quicker than he was.
Half a second faster than he did in the 5, so a great improvement for Rex Bryant and Kristen Vermeulen. This is Peter Coley and Karen Marshall, looking to be the top New Zealander here and salvage some points after a DNF in round 1 at Wanganui when they hit something in the water at Celta View. They have been fast right throughout, but of course we start afresh. We wipe the slate clean. We start with a new set of parameters. This is all about the final. It's about gathering the points. He'd love to beat Fonzie Mullen, but I don't think it's going to happen. 28.475 was the split time for Rexy Bryant. Let's see what Peter Coley can do. 28.332, so he's up on Bryant. He's heading in the right direction. You're riding with him on board here, watching Karen Marshall and Peter Coley going about their job in a foreign boat. Well, a semi-foreign boat, because he owned this a few years ago. Coming down towards the finish line now. What is the time going to be for the 7-time champion? 44.634, so he goes quickest, and he is ranked first at the moment.
The lap time's all right. It's all right. You know, like, we're making improvements. Give us another half day with this boat and it'll go down. It can do it all right.
So next to go, it will be the Hulk. This is Pat Dillon and Steve Edmonds. You're riding with them on board here. Oh, and he had to have a double bite at the start, so maybe that's going to cost him just a little bit of a time. A 10th here is all it's going to be. It's oh so close in Suzuki Superboat. This is the Hulk, PPG the Hulk. It's a 440 cubic inch small block Ford, blown and injected, can run up to around about 1400 horsepower. Not sure if you'd need all that power here, but Pat Dillon gets the very best out of this boat. He's the points leader in the Suzuki Superboats going into this round number 2, looking for a split time now. 28.746. He's down on both of the previous boats. He's really going to have to bring it home. Maybe it was that little glitch at the start that cost him any time. You're on board here watching Steve Edmonds guide his man around the Serpentine course here at Bay Park at Mount Maunganui down towards the finish line. 44.726, so he picked it up in the final stages.
We had a little bit of a bad start. We did that bubble as we took off, and then I clipped that bank at the start, and that just, it just killed me right at the start. But then the rest of the run was just superb. Like, that cost us today.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Still a good run, though, for Pat and Steve as Fonzie Mullen and Nicole Cooper head down the start chute. We take Spade Cam as they work their way around the circuit here at Bay Park. Fonzie Mullen out of Australia. Been here before, was here last year, but exited by his own admission way too soon. This time, though, he's been the class of the field. Remember, he's not competing for New Zealand Championship, so it won't make any difference to the Kiwis in the field where the championship's concerned. But he's out here for one thing and one thing only, and that's to win it. He's been in the 44s, 44.1 in the 5. What's the split going to be? It needs to be better than the 28.332. It's not. So So, Mullen's got to work hard to bring it home now if he wants to take the chocolates from Peter Coley. Peter Coley's split was better, 28.332. Mullen's was 28.5. Down towards the finish line now. Is it going to be better? It is. Sub 44 for Fonzie. 43.587. And Mullen gets the big crowd on their feet here at Bay Park. The finger comes up. 43.587. Fonzie Mullen carries the day. Mate, they say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Young Corker 43 in the final run.
43.5, mind you, so she was deep in, so we knew we had it there. We just had to wait for the waiting game. A little bit disappointed it was the top 4 because probably would have been a bit harder because if you get the top 3, you can win it or bin it and still get on the podium. So yeah, anyway, I put on a show, 43.5, and wrap with the result. Right.
So Fonzie Mullen getting the applause and the congratulations from the 7-time New Zealand champion Peter Coley, and also from Pat Dillon on a job very well done. So if we have a look at the overall results, Fonzie Mullen and Nicole Cooper fastest with that 43.587, but from the New Zealand point of view, Pat Dillon still leads the points on 59 from Leighton and Kelly Manel on 56, with Peter Coley and Karen Marshall second overall in the New Zealand Championships through in 4th.